So we touched on, I suppose, the leader's role in this, and I'd like to sort of unpack that a bit further. So I might start with you, Marianne, in regard to what's the role of the leaders in regard to building psychological safety?
Well, this absolutely has to be a leader-led initiative or piece of work. And I think that's why Mike and I had the way that our program has been set up is that it is about us as leaders, equipping leaders to be able to build and sustain, because the leader plays a very important role in creating and sustaining environments that are safe for all people, not just dominant voices. And I think, if we go back to that example of, a room of people together and one or two or three dominant voices always taking over, that's the leader's role to actually manage that situation and create an environment. And, some people are more introverted and actually need to be brought into the conversations, but they need to have a space, and the leader is, it's critical that the leader creates that space. I would add that, and I think I mentioned it earlier, that leaders typically want to be able to create these spaces for people, but they're actually just unclear on the language and the behaviours sometimes that build and take away from it. Did you want to add something to that as well, Mike, around leadership?
I think you've covered the main perspectives there, Marianne. It's really about leaders taking an inward look, making sure that they're anchored. And as I mentioned earlier, not thinking that they have to fix it. One of the hallmarks of traditional leadership is obviously guidance, direction, and things like that. That can get distorted in the sense that leaders feel that they have to be the fonts of all knowledge and or be seen to be the font of all knowledge and the fix-it person. It's allowing themselves permission to loosen that grip somewhat, still taking the absolute accountability and responsibility for attainment of organisational goals, but doing it, as Marianne's indicated, in collaboration rather than in competition almost with their own people.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, because I can look at my own experience and go, there were times the leader always felt like they had to know all of the answers, but they don't. They just need to be able to create a space where they can get collectively they're getting the answers to whatever the solution or the question may be. So it's really unleashing the power of the collective rather than a single individual.
And on that point, we will get it wrong sometimes as leaders in that space, and it's not being too self-punishing either. If that's the case, let's model the psychologically safe workplace. What did I learn from that? How can I address it if it needs addressing further? But let's move onward and upward rather than recriminating or self-recriminating.
Absolutely.
It's just such a powerful sort of share that you've both just on that, because I was reflecting while you were talking about being a dad and having two young children, and things would arise, which they always do, but I thought I had to fix everything.
Yep.
That wasn't in collaboration. I just took that on and going, I've got to find the solution, but I'm looking at it at my lens. There's no collaboration. There's no empowerment to my son and daughter going, well, what would you do in this situation? And I've seen that play out now where they're still coming to me and they're older. They're still coming to me because I haven't created that space where they can look internally and start figuring out what some of the answers or solutions could be. So it was
it can be a very subtle thing depending on what's taking it back to the organisational context. Depends on how people are systematically rewarded. What am I rewarded for? Am I rewarded for being seen to be the fixer? You can actually, as you're indicating, Michael, in any context, human context, you can set up a codependency where people are, both parties are feeling that they've got roles that they have to adhere to and stick to. This is about taking taking a journey. Sometimes it'll be a tad uncomfortable because all of us can be challenged by change. But when we see the benefits of taking even small steps, those low-hanging fruit that we talked about earlier with just asking, what can we do to help you? It can be as rewarding for the leader as for anybody else in that process.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that is actually a good point that you make, Mick. Like, psychological safety isn't just for the workplace.
That's it.
It's a human. It should be a human right to be able to feel safe. But we know realistically that that's not the case, particularly in other parts of the world as well.
Yeah, indeed.
So we're coming towards the end, but I really do want to ask, how can people find out more about what you're doing?
Well, we are doing a webinar, so that will be, we will be starting to promote that one for mid-November. And then other ways that we'd offer consultations. So Mike and I get together with potential clients, and if you have any questions, we can talk about your own context, because like we mentioned, there's not a one size fits all. So we really get to know the organisation and the team and their own specific challenge and where they are, and adapt solutions to fit their needs.
Well said. Have you got anything else, Mike, on that?
No, I think that covers all bases. Thank you.
So I just want to thank you. So I want to thank you, Marianne and Mike. Psychological safety is so important. It is the way forward. And I've got to be honest, I didn't quite understand what it was, but just what you shared with me and your passion and desire to create that sort of safe places for employees to bring their whole selves to work, to be creative and to work collectively with the business to be one.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic what you're doing.
And thank you, Michael, as well. I would add that our experience is that, understanding psychological safety is, there's still a lot of work to do. And that's why Mike and I are very passionate, and doing the work that we are doing is to help leaders understand the benefits of it from a moral perspective, but the commercial benefits as well. So thank you, very much appreciated for you hosting this.
Definitely, I second that, and look forward to potentially further interactions of this nature. It's been great to have you running this Q&A with us, Michael. Thank you.
Keep up the great work, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.